Hello, I'm Miss MJ from the Marathon County Public Library at our Stratford branch, and today we're going to be talking about awesome autumn. And autumn is the name of the season we're in right now that follows summer. Autumn also has a nickname. It's called fall. Maybe you've heard people say we're in the season of fall, and that is true as well. And the nickname, they believe, comes from the fact that things tend to be falling from trees. Have you noticed that there's some colorful leaves on the ground now? That can be a wonderful time to have some adventures outside, making leaf piles and collecting some beautiful leaves. And in fact, the first book we're going to read is by a woman who loved collecting leaves. And she collected so many, and then she started to get an idea for a book about them. And she made color copies of the leaves she collected. Are you ready? Here we go. It's called Leaf Man. Do you see what she did with some of the leaves? Does it look like a man? This book is by Lois Ehlert. Leaf Man used to live near me in a pile of leaves. There's his face, his eyes, his nose, and his body. But yesterday, the wind blew Leaf Man away. He left no travel plans. The last time I saw him, he was headed east past the chickens. Do you see the chicken? Toward the marsh, over the ducks and geese. A leaf man's got to go where the wind blows. Do you see that? He blew over the fields of pumpkins and winter squash. And flew over the turkey, past potatoes, carrots, and cabbages in rows. Then he blew out of sight. Is he drifting west above the orchards? Or over the prairie meadows? And past the spotted cows? Well, a leaf man's got to go where the wind blows. You see the cow? Maybe Leaf Man's gliding on a lake breeze. What's that look like? Does it look like a turtle? Do you see some fish in here too? Or flying along the river. There's some more fish in there. Following butterflies going south. Well, a leaf's man got to go where the wind blows. Look at the pretty butterflies. He might even be traveling north above leaves that look like him. Or flying over mountains with a flock of birds. When Leaf Man looks down on earth, is he lonesome for a home? This I do know. Where a leaf man will land, only the wind knows. So listen for a rustle in the leaves. Maybe you'll find a leaf man waiting to go home with you. That is a beautiful book, isn't it? All with pictures of real leaves that she found. And now she's encouraging you to go look for your own leaf man outside. Maybe you'll have time to do that today, or when you go for a walk with a big person sometime this week, pick up some leaves and see what beautiful art you can make, and maybe you can make your own book at home. All right. All right, it's time to break out the ukulele and have a little sing-along, and I could use your help. We're going to be singing about those falling leaves, so I need people to get their hands out and imitate leaves falling to the ground while I'm singing, okay? And you can sing along too if you want to, or just dance, whatever is fun for you. And then when I say sneeze, I need some people to help me sneeze by saying, achoo! Okay? You ready? Okay, here we go. Falling, falling, falling leaves. Mother Nature, did you sneeze? Achoo! Red and yellow and orange and brown. Big and little ones on the ground. Falling, falling, falling leaves. Mother Nature, did you sneeze? Achoo! Great work! Our second book for today is called Fletcher and the Falling Leaves by Julia Rawlinson, with pictures by Tiffany Beek. There's Fletcher. Fletcher's a fox. The world was changing. Each morning when Fletcher bounded out of the den, everything seemed just a little bit different. The rich green of the forest was turning to a dusty gold, and the soft, swishing sound of summer was fading to a crinkly whisper. Fletcher's favorite tree looked dull, dry, and brown. Fletcher was beginning to get worried about it. "I think my tree is sick," said Fletcher. "What's wrong with it?" his mother asked. "Its leaves are turning brown," said Fletcher. "Don't worry, it's only autumn," she said. Fletcher ran back to his tree and patted the rough bark. "Don't worry, it's only autumn," he said. "You'll be feeling better soon." But the tree didn't get better. Each day, more leaves turned brown. One morning, the wind blew a small brown leaf off of a branch. Fletcher jumped up and caught it very gently in his paw. "Don't worry, tree. I've got your leaf. I'll fix you." Fletcher looked around, picked a piece of grass, and carefully tied the leaf to a branch. Just then, another gust of wind ruffled Fletcher's fur. The little leaf shook itself free and fluttered back to the ground. Fletcher picked it up again and thought very hard. Then he poked the leaf onto a twig and pushed it down firmly. "Now you hold on tight," said Fletcher. "No more flying around." The little leaf gave a tiny rustle in reply. The next day, a strong wind was blowing through the forest. Fletcher rushed out of the den and ran all the way to his tree. Lots of branches were bare, and little lost leaves spun everywhere. "Don't worry, I'll catch him for you, I promise." Round and round and round whirled Fletcher after the swirling leaves. "Leaves? Wonderful! Just what I need for my nest," said a squirrel. "But these belong to the tree," said Fletcher. "Don't take them away." "The tree doesn't need them any more," said the squirrel, bounding off. "Help, help! The wind and the squirrel are stealing our leaves," said Fletcher. "Leaves? Terrific! Just what I need to keep warm," said a porcupine, rolling around. "But these belong to the tree," said Fletcher, plucking leaves from the porcupine's needles. "Not any more," snuffled the porcupine, and away he rolled. "Help, help! The wind, the squirrel, and the porcupine are stealing our leaves," cried Fletcher. Suddenly, a flock of friendly birds swooped down from the sky. They picked up the leaves in their beaks and poked them onto the tree's branches. Soon the tree was leafy again, and Fletcher flopped down and smiled. "Thank you, birds! Thank you, birds!" he gasped as the birds fluttered away. He lay looking up through the leaves at the sky and drifted off to sleep. But the wind continued to blow, and the branches still danced. The leaves shivered and shook themselves and began to wiggle free. They tossed and turned and twitched and twirled and tumbled to the ground. They brushed Fletcher's ears and nose and filled his dreams with a whispering sound. When Fletcher finally woke up, he couldn't believe his eyes. Instead of a roof of dancing leaves, all he could see were bare branches against the sky. "Oh, tree, I am so sorry," gulped Fletcher. "All your leaves are gone." But then he saw, high in the branches, one small leaf still holding on. "I won't let the wind steal that one," said Fletcher, and he began to climb. He crawled along to the last leaf and held it firmly onto its branch. All day long the wind blew, the branch bounced, and Fletcher held tight. "I'll stay with you, leaf," he said. "Don't worry." But then, with a sudden whoosh of wind, the branch bounced high. With a plip, the leaf let go and fluttered like a little flag clutched in Fletcher's paw. Fletcher looked sadly at the leaf he had promised to save. He carried it carefully down the tree and back to the den. He made a cozy little bed for it and gently tucked it in. Do you see it there? Right next to him. But all night long he could only think of his tree, all on its own. At dawn, Fletcher tiptoed outside. The wind had finally stopped blowing and the air was cold. The moon still hung in the clear sky and pale stars glimmered. See the moon up there? Kind of hiding in the daytime, but it's there. As he came to his favorite tree, Fletcher saw a magical sight. The tree was hung with 1,000 icicles, shining silver in the early light. "You are more beautiful than ever," whispered Fletcher. "But are you all right?" A tiny breeze shivered the branches, making a sound like laughter, and in the light of the rising sun, the sparkling branches nodded. Fletcher gave his tree a hug. Then he went back to the den for a nice, warm breakfast. The end. What a beautiful book. Thanks for reading with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy the beautiful autumn out there.